Hi everyone, welcome to combing part 2. I'm just doing a second combing so that you can kind of see a different style, maybe take a little more time and not just have colors that are on the surface. I've also mixed it up here with both my fiberboard that's an inch thick, so that's my dam so the glass doesn't spread. I still have a piece of blanket, but instead of a kiln shelf, because I'm using thinner blanket, I decided that I would use the same fiberboard that I'm using for the top. That way I can use some pins to pin it down so it won't move, and then the glass will be less likely to stick to the bottom of this. So when I'm setting it up, I've got my board down, I've got my paper or blanket, then I'm gonna put this mold here and I can pin through it to keep it in place. So these are like the same pins that you use to hold up the elements in your kiln, and I'm just gonna go through a few different corners. That way it'll be nice and solid when I'm combing it, because if I didn't put weight or something to stop it from moving, when I comb, because I'm pulling the glass, I'm gonna end up with leakage. So it might leak under the mold and everything. I also have weighed out about the amount I'll need. I did it with clear, so it's about 5 pounds, 12 ounces. And that will get me to about 3/4 of an inch thick. And it's gonna be consistent. So as I'm building, I can take notes of how much I'm using. I have a scale here so that I can weigh it out as I go. That way in the end, I know that I have the correct weight. It's not gonna be too full. It's not gonna be too empty, but it'll be exactly what I expect it to be. And we'll go over towards the end on a whiteboard to show you how I got to that size, calculating the weight from how much glass weighs and everything like that. So I've got it pinned down. It's pretty solid, not moving anywhere. And now I am ready to start filling in the center. So I've got my clear glass. I've got a few different colors of mosaic scrapped from my classes. I've got a few red, oranges, and yellows in this bin here. And then I also am going to incorporate some of the spiraled cane. So if you don't know spiraled cane, it's hand pulled, comes out of a vitrograph, creates a really cool effect when you use it in your projects. We have a huge variety of cane available. We have all the 96, about 40 different varieties. We are currently working on all our bullseye. We have some of it up. I think we're up to about 12 varieties, and pretty soon we'll be at 20 plus. So every week we'll be launching new colors. If you have colors that you want to see to buy, you can get all that at www.athomeglassfusing.com. And when you go there, you're gonna get wholesale prices direct to you. It is by far the best priced cane on the market. So make sure that you get some of that for your future projects, and you can check out all the other materials and things that we offer on our site there too. So let's go ahead and dive on in. All right, so now that we're here and ready to rock, we're gonna start filling this in nice and secure. Got my clear and I've got my scale next to me so that I can weigh out as I go. So to start, I'm gonna layer some of the colors down lower, some clear in between as I kind of go up, because that'll give it some depth since it's gonna be a thick piece, versus the last one I did, all the color was just on the top. So as I'm building this, I may want some gloves too, because that can be helpful. Get me one of the mosaic cutters as well. And then we can start building this. So I think I'm gonna start even with some cane in here. We'll do a little bit of the blues down low. Now remember, as we're doing combing, we kind of want lines in different ways. It's okay if it's not all like that, but that way as we comb through, you're gonna get those strips to pull in one direction or the other. So I might just start on the base with lining some of this up. And I'm gonna weigh this really quick. Okay, 2.7. And I can just grab a quick notepad. That way I can track how much I'm using. So we'll call this 3 ounces. And we can lay this down in the bottom. Oops. Probably maybe cut some of this up to be a little shorter, just to get some varying effects. Maybe we're going to add another kind of line up along here. The bottom layer may not move as much, so keep that in mind as you're building, but we kind of want the depth of this down below, and then we'll cover a layer of clear on top of this. There's that layer. Now we can grab our clear. Again, just a quick way, just to make sure we're on track and not going to end up too thick. So I'm going to weigh out 2 pounds on here. There's our 2 pounds. And then we can start just kind of laying this out. Now I might have to be a little careful in the spots so that I don't move my design on the bottom around. Once I get a little layer on there, then they'll kind of stay in place. So just covering them up a little bit. Thicker, a little bigger pieces. Just cover that up. Okay, kind of got those now in place. Now we can be a little less specific as I'm adding this over the top. Putting a little clear in between is helpful because then you'll get the depth because you'll see through the clear to each layer. And as we comb it, yes, you'll still have some bubbles, but it kind of helps alleviate the bubbles as well. So it pulls through the glass so it's a little smoother, less bubbles on the surface. And we'll talk about firing too and how we can mitigate those bubbles as it's cooling. Layer here. Just doing kind of evenly so that I really am going to fill everything in. All right, next up, I'm gonna add some of this green. And I think I'll do, let's do about half a pound. So we'll go 8 ounces of that. And then I can also clip this down to size. If you have a bowl, that can be helpful. And I can create the lines from the small pieces. If I wanted longer lines, I could keep those too. But this, I might just put in one section. It doesn't, again, have to all be lines. It could be, you know, just a small cluster here, because as you still drag through, it'll pull through the other materials that you see. This glass is also has the color more just on the one side, the swirly. So as I'm laying it down, I do want to be aware that I want that more vibrant green face up. Otherwise, I won't necessarily see it quite as much as I'd like. Now, let's see here. Kind of layer in some of these, maybe a little bit over the top of the blue, just so it still peeks out. I kind of want some varying green throughout this project, so I'm going to place it in some different spots here. See, it doesn't even have to be straight lines, because it's just as long as you have something to drag through. That's what I'm paying attention to here. So we got 2 pounds, 11 ounces so far. Okay. All right, let's maybe grab a little more spiraled cane and mess around with this green one in here. See how much I want to use. Let's cook 3 ounces here. All right, so there's number 3. These ones, I'm gonna actually lay it across the top. I may have to add some clear just to make it flat from where I humped it up here, so it'll stay and won't slide around on me. Okay, let's see, let's weigh out 1 more pound of this. Okay, 1 pound. You could also pre-weigh out each of the colors you're going to use so that you know how much material of each and it's already ready, so you don't have to weigh it out as you go. That is totally up to you. Sometimes that might be easier, so you can pick your palette and just run with it and focus on the creating as well. guys. See if I can get them to stay. So let's see, I'm at about 4 pounds. So we got about a pound and a half left that we're gonna add in here. And you can see it's getting pretty tall. That's because we got a lot of air in there. It will shrink down again. This is why it's so important to know what weight that you need. I think I'm gonna add some yellow in here next. Great way to use some leftovers that you may have. Create a whole new cool design. So let's see here. All right, we got the yellow. Let's add just a few more pieces. There's another 6 ounces. So we're at 4 pounds, 6 ounces. All right, break this stuff down. Put this clear aside because that's part of the weight that I need to add in as well, so I can cover over this next layer. Some of this added in. I need to even it out. Clear can help with that, so my cane's not going to roll all over on me. Let's see here. A few more little pieces. Oops. Also see, I'm kind of making sure I maintain a layer of fairly evenness. That way the glass doesn't have to shift or move just to settle down as I'm heating it up. And then I might be a little taller in the center because what that does is then it kind of pushes out from the center and it makes it nice and even all the way across the piece here. So let's see, maybe a little bit of yellow flying around here, just to add little accents. Got the yellow there. Now go back with some of this clear here, cover up some of these spaces, get a little depth as we put it on top of the spiraled cane. about a pound left. I am going to about 14 ounces there. And then I can finish off with a little more of the blue cane. There's our last 2 ounces that we'll need. So I want to start, throw back some of these bigger pieces. Again, we're going a little bit higher in the center. Use some of these smaller bits. I just used a hammer with this to get the clear crushed down a little bit. You could crush it down more if you liked. That is totally up to you. I'm making sure nothing's hanging on the edge of the mold because that just kind of gets stuck later on when we fire it. May pull some of the material into the center if I do. These guys, I'm gonna cut down a lot smaller. Alright, got these pieces. Let's see here. And some little clusters. Tiny bit of clear left here, just for the final sprinkle. Any little spots that I see that are a little lower, make it a little bit higher in the center there. Again, this is why we weigh, because it does look like it's over the top, but it will shrink down after it's all done. All right, we can just leave that. Alrighty, there we go. We've got our piece all done. Next step will just be to put it in the kiln. Again, it's already been pinned down, so it's not gonna move on us, and it should stay nice and flat. It might be good to add maybe a couple more. It looks like this sticks up just a little bit, so we can just add a couple more pins just on the sides here. So push pushing it down. There we go. One more. Over here, there we go. Correct. All right, nice and solid. Now it's time to put it to the kiln, and in a few hours it'll be heated up. We'll let it get molten, and we can drag through it and finish our combing. Alrighty, we are ready to start our kiln. I made it easy, and I did just a little printout so that you can see the rate and what program I'm running. Now, we only have to be concerned on this one about cooling it because it's not thick before it's fired. It's all small pieces, so it's really easy to ramp it up pretty quickly, get it to the temp. Then you'll see the combing and how it works, the equipment I use, and then we'll cool it down slow. Now, the 200 degrees that's right here from the top temp is to actually get the bubbles to rise out and then mellow out the surface of it so that you're going to end up with a smooth surface, because that's important. If you ramp it back down to 950, it's going to make the glass solidify enough that those bubbles may show up on the top. So that kind of mitigates that part, which is why I go slow from top temp down to annealing temperature. So let's plug this in and we'll get it started. Let's see what program. Okay, so 300 to 1,000, hold 0, 9s. We'll go 1,600 to see how that works. We may have to turn it up if it's not quite what we want. This time doesn't really matter as much because we just need it to hold there long enough that we can comb. We'll have to kind of restart it once we get there. And then for this part, again, this is that 200 back down to 950. We're holding for 2 hours or 120 minutes. You can type it in either way. Well, in this case, you have to do the hours. 30 degrees to 800, hold 15, 50 degrees to 700, hold 10, and then 250 down to 100. And this is running a 1-inch program, at least on the back end. So we can go ahead, get that started, and then we'll get to combing. Anyway, we got the kiln at 1600. It's time to do our first round of combing. I do recommend when you do this combing yourself that you plan how you're gonna do it. I like improv, so you know, here we go. Get this guy on. All right, so we only get about 10 seconds. I still picked up a little bit of the glass with me, but I was able to drop it back at least a tiny bit. So that's part one. Whenever you do this, make sure you double check the kiln because it drops so low in temperature. You're likely gonna get an error code like this one, which is error code 3. So we have to just start it again real quick. And then we gotta wait a little bit and then it'll be ready to comb for the second time, a third if you need it, but hopefully you get it done in 2. All right, and we are ready for round 2. right, so on that one you can see I was kind of swirling it around. In terms of depth, I was going a little deeper. That's where the glass can sometimes get stuck on it. And because of that, I think I got everything I need. I might do one more combing just to double check, getting kind of the corners really swirled and done. I want to go a little bit deeper because there is some colors that are layered in there. So if I don't go quite deep enough, then I won't get those colors maybe moving throughout, and they'll just be kind of there the way I put them. All right, last combing. We may or may not do a lot because I did get most of it, but we'll see how it looks. I got it. Woo! Right. That was the money shot. Now we are ready. Just restart the kiln. I'm going to reset the program so that it goes to top temp for just a minute, and then it's going to do its slow cool down, and that way it'll run the rest of the program. You could also do this in two parts, so you could have program 2 start, but I want to ramp it back up so that it will settle all the glass evenly in the program. All right, everyone, we have our finished results from our combing. I did go ahead and I ground the edge all the way around. That way it'll be ready for me to put it back in the kiln, doing either a fire polish. I might go a little hotter just to get it to spread a little bit more. So I will post a short on the final result because I'm also planning to shape it probably in a bowl-like shape. But check it out. I think it came out really great. It has some cool depth to it from that layering of the different colors. And excited to show you another combing in the near future with a different technique. So thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe. That new membership level for YouTube will be coming here shortly in the next week. Look forward to sharing a ton more videos with you, helping you with your kilns, and we'll see you next time on the next video.